Good day, everybody. How are you all, friends? This is Dr. Nandi. Today we are going to talk about dependent two sample test. Okay, dependent two sample test. So without further ado, I'll share my computer screen with you. Says many runners believe that listening to music while running enhances their performance. A researcher recorded time to exhaustion for 11 athletes while running on a treadmill. The time to exhaustion was recorded for each participant on two different days. On one day, each participant ran while listening to music that the runner uh, selected as motivational period. Okay. On a different day, the same runner ran without listening to any music. Do the data provide convincing evidence that the mean time to exhaustion for experienced runner is greater when they run while listening to motivational music? Is the time to exhaustion greater when they run with while listening to motivational music? Test the relevant hypothesis at alpha equal to 0.05. Now you have to understand that this is a dependent sample t-test. Why it is a dependent sample? Because the test is performed on the same runner, actually same 11 runners on two different days. Their time to exhaustion was recorded on one day while they were listening to motivational music. On the second day, they ran without listening to motivational music. So how should I approach this problem? Okay, we understand this is a dependent sample because the same runner ran on two different days without listening to the music, with listening to the music on one day, and the next day without, next day or second day without listening to the music. So with listening to the music, without listening to the music, same runners. Okay, so first we will identify one as condition while listening to music. While listening to music. While listening to motivational music. Motivational music. And two is a condition while listening to no music. Listening to no music. So we have been asked, do the data provide convincing evidence that the mean time to exhaustion for exhaustive runners is greater when they listen to music? So what we are basically testing is mu1 greater than mu2. Okay. Or that's our alternate hypothesis. Or we can write the null hypothesis as mu1 equal to mu2, and the alternate is mu1 greater than mu2. Now, if I subtract mu2 from both sides, I will get null hypothesis as mu1 minus mu2 equal to 0, and alternate hypothesis is mu1 minus mu2 greater than 0. Okay. Now, if I move this a little bit up, I can call, I can indicate this mu1 minus mu2, the difference in the two means, as mu d. So my null hypothesis is mu d is equal to 0. Alternate is mu d greater than 0. Okay. Now, first thing I have to take is do is the difference in the two times to exhaustions, difference in times. That is, I will subtract motivational music minus no music. So the first difference is 535 minus 467 is 68. Next one is 533 minus 446 is 87. Next one is 527 minus 482 is 45. Next one is 524 minus 573 is minus 49. Next one is 471 minus 562 is minus 131. Next one is 498 minus 592 is minus 94. Okay. Next one is 555 minus 473 is positive, is 82. Okay. Next one is 396 minus 496 is negative 100. Next one is 539 minus 532 is minus 13. Next one is 542 minus 500 is 42. And the last one is 523 minus 524 is minus. These are the difference in 2 times mu1 minus mu2. As I told before, this is a 2 sample dependent sample. Okay, dependent sample. Why? Because it's the same runner, only the conditions are different on 2 days. One day they listen to motivational music, the other day they did not listen to any music. The runners did not change. So this is a dependent sample t-test. Okay, so basically we will do a t-test on the difference. But before we can do the t-test, we have to test that these samples, their sample size is only 11. N is only equal to 11. So we have to test that the sample of differences, that the sample of differences of the difference, sample of differences came from a normal population. How do I do that? I have to make a modified box plot using TI-84. Okay, so if I move it a little bit, enter the difference data in L1, enter the difference data in L1 of TI-84. L1 means list 1. Hey, wait a minute, do not quit. I'll give you a hint at the end of the presentation. Okay, so please do not quit. I'll give you an important tip at the end of this presentation. Okay, so enter the difference data in L1, then you will press the second button, then the Y equal to button, then you should be on plot 1. Okay, and in the second line type, you select the 4th type of chart. So type is one chart, second chart, third chart, and the 4th chart. That is the modified box plot you are going to select. Why modified box plot? Because we select number 4 type of chart. Number 4 type of chart because this is a modified, box plot, modified box plot of the differences, which will show us if there is any outlier. There is any outlier. Hey, wait a minute. This is very important. We have to check if there is any outlier. If there is any outlier present, then the sample of differences did not come from a normal population. So how would I check it? After I put the cursor on the fourth type of chart, the cursor should sit on the fourth type of chart. I'll hit enter. So that is flashing on the fourth type of chart. After that, we will press the zoom button. Where is the zoom button? Is the third key on the extreme top row on TI-84. Zoom and then type 9. And we should see a modified box plot. Will give us a modified box plot, and we will see there is no outlier. Modified box plot with no outlier. What does it mean? It means we can assume the sample of differences came from a normal population. That is very important because otherwise we cannot do the t-test. Normal population. Okay. So again, just to recapitulate, our null hypothesis is mu d equal to 0. Alternate is mu d greater than 0. And we are doing a t-test on the difference. Okay. Difference column. So we have already entered the data in L1, and then we can do stat, calc, and then we can select number 1, which is one variable stats, and one var stats. Our data is in L3. Make that L3 by pressing second button and 3. I'm sorry, second button and L. This is L1. Let me correct that. I have entered the data in L1. Okay, so it is second button and 1. We'll keep the data as L1. And then frequency list should be empty. Do not type anything. And then you jump to calculate. And calculate the sample characteristics. Okay, specifically we are interested in the mean and the standard deviation. So the mean of the differences. XD bar is equal to minus 5.818, and SD, which is standard deviation of sample, standard deviation SD is equal to 78.0395. Remember, my sample size N equal to 11. Okay. Now let me change the color of the ink and I'll move a little bit. I'm ready to calculate my test statistic. Okay. So my test statistic P is equal to XT bar, sample mean difference, minus my hypothesized population difference is 0, divided by standard deviation of XT bar, which is SD over square root of N. Okay. So my test statistic T is minus 5.818 divided by the standard deviation of the sampling distribution is SD, which is 878.0395 divided by square root of 11. Why? Because 11 is my sample size. Okay. And that is equal to test statistic T is equal to minus 5.818 divided by the denominator, which is the standard deviation of the probability distribution of XT bar, is 23.529. 23.529. And T is equal to minus 0.247. This is my test statistic. Okay. Just to remind you, this is a right tail test, right? So if I move up, so right tail test, why? Our null hypothesis is mu D equal to 0 and alternate is mu D. Population mean difference is greater than 0. So this is right-tailed. So test. So p-value is the area to the right of minus 0.247. And this T-curve has degrees of freedom is equal to n minus 1, 11 minus 1 is 10. Okay. Okay. So how will I find this T-curve area to the right of it? So we go to, use second verse, but instead of using normal CDF, we will use TCDF. Okay. My lower is minus 0.247. My upper is 1E99. My degrees of freedom is 10. And that's it. Okay, degrees of freedom is 11 minus 1 is 10. And basically I paste, enter and enter. Okay. So enter twice when you are on pen, paste. So if I move up a little bit, my p-value comes out as, which is the p-value. My p-value, let's move up a little bit. P-value is area to the right of test statistic T is equal to minus 0.247. So this is it. This is the T curve. At the center, T is equal to 0. My T value is slightly to the left of it. Test statistic is minus 0.247. So P value is all this. As the test statistic is minus on the left of 0, the P value is greater than 0.5 and P value is equal to 0.595. Okay, and remember my degrees of freedom is 10, 11 minus 1. So compare that with alpha. Alpha is given as, alpha is level of significance. Alpha is 0.0 significance. Alpha is 0.05. So P is greater than alpha. Decision is reject H0. Conclusion is at alpha equal to 0.05. There is enough evidence to support evidence to support HA. And what is HA? Mu D is greater than 0. That is, time to exhaustion is greater for people who listen to motivational music when running. I will stop here today. If you have any question or comment, please write me a note. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Yes, I wanted to give you a tip at the end of the test, at the end of this presentation. The tip is the same problem can be done in TI-84 completely by entering in L1, time to exhaustion when listening to music. And in the second list, L1 is time to exhaustion when listening to music. In the second list, L2, time to exhaustion when not listening to music. Then in list 3, L3 should be L1 minus L2, and then do a t-test on L3, which is the difference column. And then basically you will get the same result, much quicker probably, okay? I wanted to show you the long way of getting the same result. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you like this video, please share with your friends. You and your friends, please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button at the bottom right corner. I come back every day with new problem. My goal is to make you successful in math, okay? So again, if you have any question, write me a note. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a nice day. I will see you next time with another interesting problem, interesting solution.